Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
And I know we're both wearing dark colors. It's not because we're in mourning. We did not plan this before doing our Survivor Winners at War Episode 5 reaction. But here we are, remembering the Survivor life of Boston Rob Mariano. I mean, it's possible he'll come back in Edge of Extinction. Rob is not done yet.
He's
but
not done.
This was sad. I mean, I'm not saying I'm Boston Rob's biggest fan, but I am a Boston Rob appreciator. I'm somebody who does like a lot of his game, and I think he is an extraordinary Survivor player.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't the wrong thing to do to get him out, because I've been saying since the beginning that they should have gotten him out immediately. As soon as you see Rob got to go. But for me as a viewer, Rob is tremendous to watch. So watching him go out of the game.
Hot take. I am going to be a total hypocrite. I have said for a little while now that this is the good time to get rid of Rob, but Survivor is all about circumstance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this was the circumstance to get rid of Rob if you were Ben and Adam on this new Yara tribe, but I'll explain why in just a second. But before we dive into it, if you do like this discussion, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We have Survivor coverage throughout the week, including some more stuff tomorrow. We don't want you guys to miss any of that. I'll do a quick breaking news if you didn't hear today. Filming for season 41 seems to have been delayed due to the spread of the coronavirus, and that is something, you know, we're going to keep our eyes peeled for more news about it as it goes along. But it's still kind of breaking, so there's still a lot of information I got to get a better sense of. But, okay. Here's the thing with Rob. Going into the tribe swap, my thinking was, okay, you need to get rid of Rob because you don't know if you're going to have another chance.
Mm-hmm.
He is an enormous threat.
Yes.
But then you look at the numbers, and let's talk about this for a second here, and this is why I'll justify my crazy point that Rob should have at least made it through this tribal. You are Ben, you are Adam. You are the only tribe after the swap that has a SELE majority on it.
Yeah.
So you are the only tribe that could theoretically keep your original tribe members until the merge. You don't know what's going on these other tribes. You also are in a position where, yeah, you haven't all worked together for the majority of the game, but
also they've all betrayed each other. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I keep that in mind. I may be crazy, and you guys can tell me if I'm crazy here, but the biggest thing I'm thinking about at this point is it seems as though Sophie and Sarah don't really look like they're ready to betray each other. It seems like the two of them are very, very close in this game. So in getting rid of Rob on this tribe now, you have two SELE, two DAKAL. If you're Adam, you know that you do not have an immunity idol. You know you don't have an advantage. Maybe you think that Ben is telling you the truth if he's like, I don't got anything. But you don't know what these other people in DAKAL has. Somebody's got an immunity idol, and it's not Rob. So basically, in getting rid of Rob, you have set yourself up now for a situation where if you go to tribal again, all it's going to take is Sarah, booyah, hitting you with her advantage, or Sophie, booyah, hitting you with this idol. And then guess who's going to Edge of Extinction? One of you, not Boston Rob. If you had kept Boston Rob, maybe Rob could have been the shield in front of you, because this tribe is probably going to tribal again.
Here's the thing. I think that Rob is incredibly dangerous. And
yeah, he is.
Keeping him in the game is a mistake.
Not now!
No, it is a mistake.
I'd keep him.
And I understand that Sarah and Sophie have all kinds of advantages going on at the moment. That they're, you know, there is the steal vote. And so it is there. We just also saw Sophie get an idol and put it down her pants. So there's also that. But they don't know that.
They don't know that part of it, no.
Right. So they don't know that part of it. But for Adam, who has played many different sides, getting rid of Rob and then not really caring what happens to Ben feels like something that is an advantage to him. Because Ben and Rob and Adam don't really have trust with each other. They've all betrayed each other. Everything has gone sideways with them. That is never going to last. It is a miserable camp experience. we've seen with Yule keeping everybody happy and, you know, good morale means something. And even just watching that as a viewer, I felt really tense. Like, it was tense. So for Adam, I can understand why he wrote down Rob. Get Rob out, work with the girls, get rid of Ben. Everybody's got to go. So was this a bad move for Adam? I actually don't think it was a bad move for Adam. I think he made the right choice. I think he can get in with the women because they're going to need another number. He will be there. He will be that number. Ben will go, and Adam's in a good spot. This wasn't a bad move.
I think it was a bad move. And I know I'm crazy because I know.
I don't know that you are crazy.
I think I might be because I have been spouting off about Rob for about 2 weeks now. But
for me, Rob would really scare me.
He would.
Because he can control the whole tribe to the fact that they're all sitting around being babysat. You can't get water. You can't get something to eat. You can't go for a swim in the ocean. Nobody's allowed to do anything. Rob just has to go. And it hurts me to say that because now he's gone and I'm like, I wish Rob was still there as a viewer.
But this is I think if I was playing the game in Adam's shoes, I think I would totally understand wanting to get rid of Rob because I have just watched Rob survive a lot of tribal councils. I think there is a certain degree of I want to be the guy who gets rid of Rob, and I want that on my resume. That's going to look really cool, and I get all of that.
Yeah, but Rob has gone through a lot of tribal councils, and he is like this Teflon Rob, and he just keeps coming back. Like, he's too dangerous to keep in this game, especially at this point. They're dwindling down. I
just feel like you don't know what the allegiances are on DAKAL, and if I was in the game, it would be very tempting for me to get rid of Rob. I would hesitate only because I would be worried about not knowing what the alliances were on the DAKAL tribe and getting rid of one of my own numbers. Am I making it more likely that DAKAL is going to steamroll all of us at the merge? It's sort of like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And Rob may get you a little bit further in the game, but yes, there is that risk, as you suggested, where Rob steamrolls you after the merge and blindsides you, and then you end up losing.
Yes, and you will, and you'll lose the $2 million. It is not worth it because I would understand if these three had even just a little bit better of a relationship. But it is so bad that they can't even leave camp. They have to pull in this like extreme buddy system where it's not even like you can go off with somebody. It's just like, nope, you can't do anything. Like, it was miserable.
We should look at it this way, though, because, I mean, I'm sure all you guys will have an opinion on whether or not the right move was made at Tribal, but I will say this. While I would have considered keeping Rob here, I do think Rob did not play this, and, you know, this is one of those weird situations where I'm, like, criticizing Survivor greatness, but I do wonder if there was a different way that Rob could have handled this, because it seemed like he went into the tribe swap feeling very, very like, okay, I don't really want to get to know these DAKAL people. I want to keep the SELE people strong. I want to do the buddy system. Because if he had played this differently, let's think about this from this way. If Rob is a really big target, if he is valuable to keep around because of that, maybe Rob should have gotten to know Sophie and Sarah a little bit more and then tried to persuade them to get rid of Ben or Adam, and then he could have been in front of them.
Absolutely. That is the better way to go about it and see if he could. And maybe there was some footage that we just didn't see, and he was really trying to work some magic with them, and they were not having it, and that was just kind of the way that it was going for him. And he was like, all right, well, if it's not going to work over here, okay, guys, I know we all don't trust each other, but this is how it's going to go down.
There clearly had to be some footage we didn't see, and if I'm going to put on my production Matt hat here for a second, Rob's got to do interviews at some point away from camp. They're not going to interview Rob there. So my guess is Rob had to go away to do an interview at some point that day before Tribal, and then everybody else just looked at each other and said, yeah, let's get rid of Rob, and then that was probably it. Because I'm just thinking about it. It's very suspect that there were no conversations between Sarah, Sophie, Ben, and Adam, and Sarah didn't play an advantage. There was no idol. They clearly knew what was going down. I don't believe for a second that they would have rolled the dice to that extent.
No, I don't agree. I agree that they didn't do that either. That they had said sort of like, oh, we were getting from Ben and Adam sort of winks and thumbs up when his back was turned and stuff like that. I don't think that that was enough. It's way too much of a risk. I thought they would have played at least one advantage. I think that a conversation may have happened.
Would you have turned your chances down at $2 million because I winked at you in the middle of the camp?
No, well, maybe.
Okay,
no.
I don't know. Well, I think really this is just a situation where Rob may have mishandled some things. Maybe he went in there and he realized that they wanted him gone anyway. I think Sophie and Sarah, they had a really kind of advantageous position for a minority alliance coming into, a tribe swap, or I should just say a minority tribe, because they weren't that close back on the DAKAL, but, we're in a situation where Sarah has that advantage. Sophie finds an idol. Mm-hmm. As we're sort of looking at the bigger picture here of the game, I am a little bit worried that we're just going to see a lot of DAKAL people really kind of steamroll at this point, because we do have that big Yule Alliance. We'll get the SELE. They're still in a really, really good position.
Yes, they are.
It seems as though we could have something kind of chaotic and interesting go down with Kim on the new DAKAL tribe.
Yep.
But at the same time, Sandra still has an immunity idol that's eligible to be played over there. I could see a scenario where we just kind of lose SELE people until we get to the merge, and then it's all, a few stragglers and then a ton of people from the original DAKAL still there.
Yeah, I see that.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all kind of shakes out. I'm with Rob sometimes that tribe swaps aren't always my thing, because it is sort of looking at this new SELE tribe is absolutely not my thing in any way, shape, or form. I am not a fan of let's all just watch Parvati slow demise in the game with
I agree. I mean, I don't want to see that. I mean, she worked as much magic as she was able to work, and she did really try to work her social game, and she is really good at that. So, I mean, maybe...
Well, good news, Parvati. Yule's wife is a big fan of you, so maybe Yule's wife can come out and save you in Survivor, or maybe 18-year-old Nick will save you because he was in love with you. I don't know. Those may be your only hopes in this tribe.
Listen, I don't want to see Parv go home, but I am a fan of Yule, and I am a drink at the Kool-Aid, just like they all are. He has such a great energy about him. I love watching him. So I wasn't unhappy when they unrolled their buffs, and I was like, oh, okay, some of them stuck together. Okay, my guy's going to be okay for a little while longer.
The good news, I think, for Parv, for this entire tribe, I don't know if they're going to go to Tribal Council before the merge. I mean, Parvati is really resilient in a lot of these challenges.
Yes,
Yule, very good challenge competitor. Yep. Michelle, really good. Wendell, really, really good. You've got a lot of people in there who are resourceful, who can do a lot of stuff. Nick had an immunity run at the end of David versus Goliath. They may just be able to sort of run the table, and Parvati doesn't have to worry about anything right now, but...
Yeah, and the fact that Yule does do a really good job of keeping up everyone's morale. I mean, people overlook that, but it is extremely important in a game like this to keep your morale up, keep positivity going. It helps at camp, it helps in the challenges.
Yeah, it's teamwork. I mean, I think someone even said teamwork makes the dream work during this episode, and... It's true out there. If you can build a good camaraderie, it can help you in challenges. I think Yule is really great at that. I mean, you have a lot of positive people, I feel like, on this new SELE tribe in general. But, okay, we have to talk about the Michelle Wendell situation here, which, by the way, I love studying how people phrase things. And Michelle's point of view, Wendell and I used to date. Wendell's point of view, we kicked it. What does kick it? What does kicking it mean? Like, am I too old now that I'm not up with the terminology?
Well, I'm older than you, so I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing that means they dated?
I guess
for a short time.
Yeah, it feels like Wendell's evaluation of this relationship though is slightly different than what Michelle's was.
Well, maybe that's why it didn't end well.
Maybe that is why it didn't.
I actually wasn't even sure that it didn't end well until this episode, because we saw the preview and it was so small. I thought, okay, maybe they ended on okay terms, and then that'll be really good for both of them because they'll have somebody there to work with. But nope, that is not the case.
It doesn't seem like they are going to be running hand in hand to the final tribal council, but I do think they know each other on a really deep level. They probably know their friends and family outside the game to some extent. I feel like if the chips are down, Wendell is going to keep Michelle and he's going to try to get rid of Parvati.
I think probably, but mostly because I think that Parv is just the biggest threat.
Yeah, Parv is a really enormous threat.
Yes, she is. And so I can see Parv really being in a bad situation right now. I mean, she is the biggest threat. She's very smart. She plays this game so well. And the Yule Alliance is pretty strong still. So I don't know. I'm worried.
Well, here's another good question then to ask all you guys. Can you think of a time that Parvati was in a worse position in any of her times playing Survivor? I mean, I guess other than Cook Islands, but because Rob was her close ally.
Yeah.
Rob is gone.
Rob is gone.
Tyson, who could have potentially been somebody she worked with, gone. Amber, gone. It feels like Ethan, gone. Yeah. She has a lot of fire tokens, so there's that.
Maybe she can just buy the $2 million?
Yeah. I don't know the currency exchange on fire tokens to actual American dollars, but that may be Parvati's best hope now.
But she is fire tokens rich, so maybe she'll be able to. I don't know if you can sort of like, if you can only buy stuff, or maybe you can bribe people.
I don't know, but I mean, it seems like maybe there'll be some action on Edge of Extinction coming up. Maybe someone can get something that Parv can use in the game. I mean, I want to see her have a chance, and maybe she'll get that. Maybe her tribe will just keep winning. Let us go now, though, to DAKAL, where I think this is going to be actually kind of fascinating, and I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, because you've got Jeremy and Denise, who kind of sort of are working together to some extent already.
Yeah.
And then you've got Tony and Sandra, which ironically, they screamed at each other in Game Changers, and now they're on an alliance together. And then you have Kim, who is sort of in the middle, which doesn't really trust either one of them.
Yeah, but Kim is now gone from like being in a really rough spot at the beginning of the season to sort of the most powerful person on that tribe, because she is the flip, and whoever gets Kim gets the majority. So she holds a lot of power right now, and I'm really happy to see that because I love Kim.
It's also...
I know you love your guy, Tony, but I really love Kim.
I want to see them together. Why can't they just work together? Why can't we have Sandra, Tony, and Kim? Why can't we have nice things, Survivor?
We might be able to. She hasn't made her choice yet. We haven't seen her have to make a choice
Tony
yet.
Can go and build you ladders. He can speak llama to you. I know... Kim likes pointing out what animal people are. That was in like our pregame stuff in One World. Like,
listen, if Tony brought me a ladder and was like, "Hey, be part of my group," I'd be like, "No."
Well, what if Tony spoke llama to you? Would that win you over?
No. Maybe if he brought me Tasty Shark. Yes.
Okay, maybe. Okay, Tony, you just don't get your arm bitten off like you almost did last time. But but the most interesting thing to me about this, and we didn't even hear it addressed on the actual DAKAL part, was Sophie saying she gave Kim her part of the idol back. Yeah. I didn't really expect that. I'm kind of curious as to why Sophie did it, other than that maybe she just recognized that, okay, Kim found the idol, I need to buy some goodwill, we might not be on the same tribe, maybe Kim will remember this down the road if people in my own alliance get chipped off.
Yeah.
I think it was actually pretty smart of Sophie to do that.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing bad that comes from that. I don't know that Kim was going to give her half of the idol over, but I think it buys her some goodwill, and if they're both there a little bit later on, I think it'll help.
Let's ponder this through now. You are Kim. You are one of the greatest Survivor players of all time. You can either go with Denise and Jeremy, or you can go with Tony and Sandra. Here's the pros and cons here. Sandra, only 2-time winner, big target because of that.
Yes.
Tony, enormous target, mostly because Tony will never not be a target on Survivor.
Yes.
Jeremy, an insanely good player who may somehow be slightly underrated still, but maybe he's not as big of a target for you to be behind. Where would you go if you were Kim?
It's tough because I don't know that she can actually build trust with Sandra and Tony, and in this game trust really matters. I get the idea of having Sandra as a bigger target, Tony as a bigger target. Tony, I don't know that she can trust them long term. So it almost feels like a bit of if Ben and Adam ended up going with Rob, it's a for now alliance. But I think that she could actually build some really good, strong bonds with Jeremy and Denise. And get further because of it. I know she's a big target, and it's great to have a shield in front of you, but having those real trusting alliances and having the numbers of people you can trust that aren't going to turn on you later, and Sandra will turn on you. And who knows what's going on with Tony? He's building ladders and swinging around sharks.
Well, okay, so this will prove that I'm not just salty because people I like are getting voted off. I do think it's probably the right move for Kim to flip and hang out with Jeremy and Denise, because
people I like are getting voted off too, and I know that it doesn't help Tony, and I like Tony too, but I just think it's the better move.
It's probably the better move because with the SELE group, there's not going to be as many numbers of them seemingly because of what's going on in the other tribes. Kim already knows that she was on the bottom of the DAKAL group, and if she doesn't trust Tony and Sandra, they were really the only two people outside of the Yule Alliance, other than maybe Sarah, that she could have really turned to for anything anyway. So she might as well go and find some other numbers elsewhere. The only thing that makes this chaotic is Sandra, my belief is that her idol is still good for one more tribal that she's at. So if Kim's going to make a move, she best make it secret, and then you do run that risk of Sandra playing an idol, and then boom, all of a sudden Kim could be voted off in a retaliatory measure, or we could see the end of Jeremy and Denise.
Yeah.
I do like this episode. I think it was a really crazy one, a lot of stuff going on. Let's just spend a second on Yule and Jonathan Penner and what was going on there. I love that Yule brought that to life. I love Penner. He's one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, and my thoughts are out there to him, Stacy, and thank you guys so much for being a part of this video. And of course, we want to hear from you guys what you thought about this episode and whether or not you thought the right or wrong move was made. And if you did enjoy this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.